Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope everyone has had a very good Thursday. Let's get into the Manchester United stuff. And there's a big story we want to go through and kick off the show with tonight. And that, of course, is Jadon Sancho. Sancho has today been banned by Manchester United from first team training. He has been pretty much banished from the actual first team squad. He will be training by himself. We have some quotes first and foremost in the comment section. So, first and foremost, according to Laurie Whitwell, Jadon Sancho refused to apologise to Erik Ten Hag following his outburst after being asked to by the club. That's not good. It's really not. Now look, there are some things that maybe can be overlooked, some things that maybe can be forgiven in some senses. If you're in the position of playing fantastic week in, week out, maybe you get a little bit more liberties. Jadon Sancho hasn't earned the right to go after Erik Ten Hag in this manner because so far, as Irfan has said, he has been a bit of a flop. Irfan says Sancho is a big flop and he has to go to Dortmund. Don't think they can afford him, but definitely for me, his Manchester United future has to be in doubt, has to be called into question. It's down there in the poll tonight, guys. Does Sancho have a future at Manchester United? Let me know. The options are yes, I'm not sure, or no. If you guys do not think he will be back at Manchester United, let me know down below. Another quote coming in from James Ducker as well. He is saying Jadon Sancho's outburst both stunned and infuriated Erik Ten Hag and has left Sancho facing an uncertain future at Manchester United. So certainly it's not looking good for Sancho, and this is something I'm really surprised about. I said during the last season, I remember really clearly saying that Jadon Sancho is a player who has to be loyal to Erik Ten Hag because Ten Hag went out of his way at a time United were struggling, at a time United really needed performances on the pitch. Erik Ten Hag gave Jadon Sancho the time off he needed to go get his head in the game, to go pick up some physical fitness. He went to the Netherlands on an exclusive training regime put on by the club. This isn't the way to go about it. It's really not, guys. Chat Sports in the comments. Chrissy's down there as well saying Sancho is a daughter, love him, but he just wants everything handed to him on a platter. Irfan says no Sancho and no Antony. No. So certainly for the time being, this is an opportunity. If you're Facundo Pellistri, I said this the other night, guys, as well. You know, Jadon Sancho, Antony, Amad Diallo, all our right wingers are out of action. This is an opportunity for Pellistri to come out here, really make a real claim to be in a first team. He's got the opportunity now. He's the only player who is available for selection who plays on that side. So this has to be a chance for him. We got in the comments, we got Chatsport saying Sancho could be a bargain at 25 million. I think a lot of people would have took, I don't know, 45, 50 million for him in the summer. I really do. And he was lucky not to be sold. It comes down to wages and stuff as well, but this is another example of the ongoing drama at Manchester United, the ongoing issues that we have faced throughout this season. It really has been an unbelievable start to the season, really, guys. You know, we're looking at the Antony situation, the injuries, the form on the pitch, the Sancho issues, the whole takeover. The club genuinely is in such a mess in this moment in time. Who else we got in the comments? Luman is down there. Good to see him, man. Irfan says, Amad and Pellistri, now is their time. It certainly will be. They'll be given an opportunity. Ronnie is saying, play the young lad on the wing. He was brilliant in the summer. Look, I made my feelings perfectly clear on Facundo Pellistri the other night. I definitely think he is a guy who could really benefit from this. And look, no Amad, he's injured. No Sancho, he's banned. No Antony, he's out of the team until these allegations and the legal issues are taken care of. So there's nobody else to play there. It's got to be Pellistri. It really does. I don't want to see Bruno put there. Play Bruno in his best position for me. Absolutely. Luman said, I'm sure Pogba has spoiled a lot of players before leaving. Look, I mean, it might not be Paul Pogba specifically, but look, I'm not going to put fingers at players no longer at the club, but the player power at this club has been an ongoing issue for far, far too long, guys. And finally, we've got a manager now. It's his way or the highway. And thankfully, Erik Ten Hag is standing firm in this once again. Irfan says, I'm sick about Man United. Honestly, man, I get you. I feel you. I absolutely do feel you on that one. Chrissy as well. Facundo, very underrated. Was very impressed when I watched him in Dublin. Always seems to be running and working. Just gets on with it. Leaves everything on the pitch. Really strong work ethic. Yeah, look, He's a hard-working player. He's a good player. I don't think that we could do much worse. Like, I really don't. There's nobody else to play there. Let's give the guy a chance. Like, what's the worst that could happen? He doesn't play well. Well, then we know. Then we know if he's good enough or not. And that's something we've been asking for a long time. Irfan saying, Problem FC, Man United is coming now. It's a good name, man. Maybe we should be putting Problem FC on the badge as well, because it's ongoing problems at this club, from players to the board to the owners. Everything does not seem to be moving in the right direction. It's not a good time for Manchester United. So let me go through United's club statement first and foremost on this Sancho issue, just to get the full kind of picture of where we stand at this moment in time. So Manchester United and Jadon Sancho has recently found himself in hot water, according to Laurie Whitwell, after posting and then deleting a tweet undermining the manager Erik Ten Hag. The club has confirmed, as a disciplinary measure, Jadon Sancho will undergo a personal training program away from the first team group. Manchester United have said Sancho will remain on a personal training program away from the first team group, pending the resolution of a squad discipline issue within the club. So this might run on indefinitely. I'm asking you guys tonight, do you guys think he has a future at Manchester United? Let me just check the poll, early doors of course, but 54% are saying no, he's got no future. Over half of you guys so far already saying there's no way back for Jadon Sancho at this football club. We have 31% saying they're not sure, and only 15% saying yes, he does have a future at the club. I think that's interesting, I do, and I think we're heading to that territory now that this might be something he can't come back from. It's like I said, if Sancho was the main player at the club, who really was playing week in, week out, putting 10 out of 10 performances in, scoring goals, making assists, being the guy for Manchester United, the guy we thought we would have, and the guy we thought we signed, maybe this could be looked at differently. I really don't know. Ronnie says, who will be back for Saturday? Is a good point. I did see Lisandro Martinez as a doubt as well. Luke Shaw will be out, of course, so if I had to guess, probably Wan-Bissaka on the right. Lindelof will be in there, I assume. Varane's out, so it might be Lindelof, Maguire, and who do we play left back? Do we play Delo? Do we play Reguilon? Who plays in that back four is a big issue. A lot of injuries in the defensive areas. We got Greg down there. Good to see you, Greg. I wouldn't care if Sancho doesn't play ever again. You know, players with lazy attitudes are not worth anything. Pellistri trains hard all summer, and that's the kind of player we want. I think that's what we need. Absolutely. Irfan's down there as well. The best 11 is Onana, Delo, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Amrabat, Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, and Ahmad or Pellistri. I don't think that's too bad of a team, man. Look, it all depends who plays left back. We don't want to see Delo there long term. Maybe it's something we see in the short term. Maybe that's what we want to see. One thing we do not want to see at Manchester United, of course, is Bruno Fernandes on that right side. We really don't want to see it, because this is a man who is so important to making things happen. Look, we're a team who don't score enough goals. We should not be moving the most creative player, the man who might make something out of nothing, and putting him on the right where he can't do as much. That's something as well we've got to be looking out for. 18 votes on the poll, 50% saying no future for Sancho, 28% saying not sure, and we have 22% going for the yes vote. Personally, in my opinion, it's a long way back for Jadon Sancho in this moment in time. In the position he finds himself in, it's a long way back. And have we seen enough from Sancho that we can reliably tell ourselves and say, yeah, Joe, this is a guy, he'll come back, he'll fight, he'll work hard? I don't know. We've got Chase in the comments. Good to see him, man. It's good to see the manager got the power back in the club. Ollie was soft on these lot. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the big issues with Ollie that really led to his end at Manchester United. He was kind of everybody's friend at the club. He didn't want to be overly stern with the players. It was more smiles and hugs. It wasn't the kind of ruthlessness we're seeing from Ten Hag. And look, it's not that Ten Hag's a guy coming in like Ranić, pointing fingers left, right and centre, saying, yeah, you're crap, you're out, don't want to see you. Ten Hag saying, come here, work hard, follow the rules, don't be late, and put put in a shift, put in the effort, and it's not too much to ask for. It's basic professionalism. Irfan says, yes, you're right, Bruno, number 10 is good. Absolutely, man. That's where we want Bruno. Number 10 position in that midfield, being the big creator. That's what Bruno Fernandes is. That's what he has to be for this team. Absolutely agree with that one. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure to get them in down below. Want to move on really quickly to another topic. Is something that I did miss in the last stream, and that is Manchester United having a new sponsorship. Now, this is coming with a company called Snapdragon. £60 million per season for the front of the shirt sponsorship, and it's got a lot of people talking. It's got a lot of people asking questions. We've got Sniper Pats in the comments as well. Players play, managers manage. If Sancho can't pull his weight and follow orders, show him the door. Love the show. Big ups. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, look, we're just getting back into the swing of things. Was off for a while, but we're back. Well and truly back now. And yeah, I mean, look, what a time to come back into the Manchester United news and everything coming on with this football club at the moment, guys. Honestly, we thought, yeah, maybe after transfer windows, things would quieten down, but absolutely no chance of that happening. But yeah, look, I want to talk real quickly about this shirt sponsorship deal. It's one of these, it does this point towards Glazers staying? I hope not. Like, I really, really, really hope not. But we do have to be asking the questions. We are very, very soon approaching the 1 year mark in this takeover ordeal. This did go down, I believe, last October. So, what, we got 2 weeks or so? We're pretty much 12 months in. Where's the resolution coming from? That's my question. Will the Glazers be staying? Look, I really hope not, guys, because I think everything we're seeing at the club, from the board to the directors, to the scouts, to the stuff we see on the pitch, it's all coming down to what goes on at the top. It's a culture of failure. It's a culture of toxicity, and it's just not a good place to be around Manchester United right now. And look, I know a lot of you guys are fed up with it as well. I'm so just like, oh, where are we going with this as well? That's what we have to be asking ourselves on that one. So look, Sancho, it's not looking good for the long-term future of Sancho. I think the most damning thing, and if you guys want to scroll to the top of the comments, we can see this coming in from Laurie Whitwell, and I think this is really, really poor. So, Jadon Sancho refused to apologise to Erik Ten Hag after being asked to. Now, as we know, Director of Football John Murda stepped in. Murda stepped in to mediate the issues between Ten Hag and Jadon Sancho. And as part of that, he was asked for Sancho just to apologise to the manager. You came out in public, you came out on your social media, you undermined his position. This is something that should have been handled behind closed doors, in my opinion, but it's very much a public spat now. It's not looking good for Sancho. I think Ten Hag has a lot more credit in the bank. Liman, do you think or believe this United will see light at the end of the tunnel? Look, man, there's got to be light at the tunnel. I think this, as an optimistic person, is someone who wants the best, someone who needs the best from this club, and I think it will improve. Make no mistake about it. I do. My problem is we are in the middle of the tunnel, and the light at the tunnel is getting further and further away. Now, look, we know what's still there. We know what has to happen for us to get out of the tunnel and back into the light, but every day, seemingly, it just gets a little bit darker, and it's not quite going where we want to see it as well. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure to get them in down below. Let me know your thoughts for the Brighton match on Saturday. We'll be doing a watch along for that one. Looking forward to it as always. Not feeling confident about it, guys. Have to be honest with ourselves here as well. Some other quotes coming in on the Sancho stuff as well. Discussions took place between Sancho and Ten Hag on Monday, coinciding with the squad's return to training after the internationals. It is believed Ten Hag became aware of the comments while the team was travelling back to the northwest from London following the match against Arsenal. Interestingly, before the window closed, Saudi Arabia, there was reports United were willing to selling Sancho. However, it is worth noting the player himself was not considered for a move to the Middle East, as he was located in New York during that time. So, Chase is down there, steps in the right direction. Hold on a little longer. I like that, Chase. I like the positivity, man. Look, I think we've got to try stay positive, and I don't think on the pitch it's as bad as what it's been made to look in the media and stuff. Now, look, as we know, media is always going to go for Manchester United. We sell shirts, we sell the clicks, we get the interactions. That's why people go for United. The issue that I think we have is a lot of it, the off the field stuff is filtering onto the on field stuff. So I think Sancho being out might be a good thing. I think Antony being out, that's a distraction we do not need at Manchester United at the moment. And I think and I hope that it will get better. I do really do. Keep voting on the poll as well, guys. What, we got 20 votes on it so far. 55% going for the no. Sancho has no future at Manchester United. 20% going for yes, and we have 25% going for not sure. Thanks very much for everyone who has voted on that one so far. Some good news as well coming in from James Ducker tonight, and this is relating to United's match against Brighton at the weekend, and that is there is hope Sofyan Amrabat will be fit enough to be involved in the game on Saturday against Brighton. So maybe we're going to see some Amrabat. I think that's hopefully going to be something that we can be happy with as well. Something to look forward to at the very least. Let me just fire this into there as well. Drop a like on the video, guys. We're up to 14. Can we get up maybe to 20? Would be massively appreciated if so. But yeah, look, Sofyan Amrabat, if he comes into that team against Brighton, I would feel a bit better. I think midfield's been a big issue all season long. Everybody knows it. Everybody's feeling it. And hopefully Amrabat will be the answer that we have been looking for such a long time. So I want to go back to this Sancho stuff as well, guys, because I'm really feeling that it's just not looking good for the guy. We have an update in the last couple of minutes from Sky Sports as well. That is Erik Ten Hag wants Sancho to apologise for the social media post made before allowing him to return to training. Now, I think this is interesting, guys, and my issue with this is, if we look at what Laurie Whitwell said, Jadon Sancho refused to apologise in the first place. So if we're talking about a guy who is refusing to apologize, and we have a manager who is not going to have him back until he does apologize, we're in a Mexican standoff here. We are in a position now where there's going to be deadlock. Somebody's going to have to cave, and hopefully it's going to be Jadon Sancho, because I think that's what he has to do. Jace is down there following Ten Hag's approach with new players. Sofyan Amrabat will be introduced as a sub in the second half. Look, it's very possible, but I think the injuries to Mason Mount will hopefully factor into that. It's a big week for United. As we know, Brighton Saturday, Bayern Munich, Champions League during the week. So it will be a big week for Manchester United. Very difficult matches coming up. Look, we could lose another 2 matches, and the feeling around this club will be one of absolute negativity. Make no mistake about it, guys. And I think that's something we have to be aware of. And if it is a case of short-term pain for long-term gain, I guess that's going to have to be what it is. Some more votes going in on the poll as well. Does Sancho have a future at Manchester United is what we've asked you guys tonight. 17% are going for the yes. We have 26% going for the not sure, and 57% going for the no. No future at Manchester United. It's an interesting one, guys. It's hard to know. It really is. And I would say if Antony was playing well, and if Antony was in a position where he was able to play for the club, maybe then you're asking questions about, will Sancho ever be seen again? I think we'll see him again. I just don't know if it's going to be a long-term thing. I really don't, guys. And I think we've got to look at this realistically. Ten Hag will be strict on this. He will be stern, as he must be. Does that mean that Sancho is nowhere back? Potentially that's what we're looking at. And I don't think it's even too big of an issue that Erik Ten Hag has raised, or that he's questioning for Sancho either. I think the professionalism, the work ethic, that sort of stuff has to be, it shouldn't be a big bonus. It should be something that's absolutely built into every player at this football club. And players like McTominay, even the Freds, when they were here, one thing they always brought was work rate and passion and desire. Should those qualities be standing out amongst Manchester United players? I don't think so. I really don't. I think that if you're at this club, you should be in a position where you are absolutely committed every match to doing your absolute most, running through walls, running yourself into the ground, if necessary, to get this team winning matches. I don't think that's I don't think that's a revolutionary thing. I don't think it should be something that should be standing out, but it absolutely is. And I think Sancho is another example of that in this club. So more people joining in. Let me know your thoughts on the Sancho situation down below. Would you guys have him back, or do you think this is the end of the road? Because realistically, I think when we look at what he's done across this last, what, 2 years, 3 years now, first season, I guess, look, everybody gets a bit of a bypass in the first season if you don't hit the ground running. It's always going to draw criticism, but I will give players time. I think, yeah, look, he came in at a bad time because United's worst season in the Premier League era. That's over 30 years at that point. So I guess we can look past one season. I think last year, Erik Ten Hag went out of his way at a time United were struggling to say, yes, look, Jadon, go and get your head back in the game, get yourself fit, come back. And he came back, and for 1 or 2 matches, it looked really good, and that was it. This season is kind of make or break for Sancho, and this isn't the sort of activities, this isn't the responses, this isn't the attitude that we want to see from a Manchester United player. It's really not. And I don't know, guys, like, I seriously just think that we're looking now at a guy who is living on borrowed time. If the transfer window was still open, he might well have been sold by now. I think that might be his only saving grace at this club at the moment. 25 votes on the poll, up to 60% are saying no, Sancho has no future at Manchester United. I can feel the winds turning against the guy. I really do. And look, I feel bad for this. I seriously do, because Sancho is a player I really wanted when he came in. I think coming out of Dortmund, the numbers he was putting up, the performances, absolutely exceptional. And look, it was always going to be an adjustment period. It was always going to be a case that he came into a team that did really bad in his first season, but he should be showing more, both on and off the pitch at this point. He really, really should. And we're just not getting it from him at all. And look, if I'm Facundo Pellistri, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. I seriously do. That's why he's in the actual title of the video as well, because he finds himself in a position where arguably he would have been 4th choice on the right-hand side. He probably would have gone on loan or potentially sold in the summer transfer window, because Amad Diallo would be ahead of him, Jadon Sancho would be ahead of him, and Antony would be ahead of him. Now Amad is injured. Now we have Sancho banished from the first team for the time being, and Antony's out for an indefinite amount of time whilst these legal allegations go through the legal processes. So if you're Facundo Pellistri, you should be knocking on that door. We can see he's putting up the photos and videos of himself working very hard in personal training. He also got Le Mans going. Should Ten Hag have given the number 7 to Sancho? I don't think so. I think we can see why he wasn't given it. I think, yeah, look, he came in, Cavani was number 7, then Ronaldo came in. He was never going to be Manchester United's number 7. I've no issue with that at all. Like, there would have been a bigger argument for Garnacho maybe to be number 7, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not too bothered. I wouldn't have given it to Mount either, just if anybody's asking that question as well. So we got 30 votes as well, 60% saying absolutely no chance for Sancho to have a future at Manchester United, 23% saying, yeah, I'm not sure, and 17% of you guys as well are saying, yeah, he's got a future. I would like to know who the 17% are. Why do you guys think he can come back from this? I'm genuinely curious. Daniel's down there. First Sancho was banned, and now I'm banned from all... Alright, man. Not even going to read the rest of that. Oh, dear, man. Gotta love that there one. Really, really do. Let me just double check as well some other stuff we wanted to go over. But look, it's not been an easy time for Manchester United. It seriously hasn't. I think we got to be asking questions as well. Could Erik Ten Hag have had a harder start at Manchester United? We seriously got to ask these questions, because it's genuinely one issue after another. It's constant, it's ongoing, it's never ending as well. So an update coming in from Manchester Evening News. Want to get talking about this one as well, guys. Talking takeovers. So one of Manchester United takeover hopefuls has reportedly threatened to walk away from the process if the Glazers insist on one of their demands. Manchester United's future has been left firmly in the balance since the owners announced they were launching a strategic review last October. The American family has been tight-lipped about the process on the sale, but we are aware that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim are interested in buying the club. Jim Radcliffe has threatened to walk due to the Glazer demand, according to NBC, and the Glazers are currently demanding to have some sort of voting rights as well as remaining in the boardroom should Radcliffe wish to complete his purchase of the club. I mean, look, that's not looking good, guys, either, because now we're looking at a point where the Glazers are looking voting rights. They're basically just looking Radcliffe's money as a minority investment. Like, this isn't what we want to see either. Who have we got down here? Gani is down there as well. Believe Sancho has a future. There's a talent in him. Ten Hag has no excuse from now on. We've got to play attractive football. Yeah, look, I would agree with you as well. There's definitely a talented player in there. There really is a very, very talented player in there. And yeah, I want to see better football from Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag's team. Absolutely. But we have to ask the question, what is talent without the application? What is talent without being available and working hard and putting the numbers up and putting the shift in, doing what you have to do? Because somebody, I'm not sure who it was earlier, had likened it to the Paul Pogba situation. A very talented player who never really got it going at Manchester United, although Pogba has shown more than Sancho. That's what we got to be asking ourselves as well. Is Sancho going to turn it around? No one's doubting the guy is a phenomenal talent, is a brilliant player, has so much ability. But it's when does it come out? Are we going to get it out of him? That's what we have to be asking as well. Have I talked about Maguire's mum's outburst? We will be moving on to that as well. Don't worry, man. Who else we got down here? It's like a drama series. Honestly, it is like a drama series, guys. It seriously is like, it's genuinely laughable. We're looking issue after issue, injury after injury. We're never out of the headlines. 1 week without Manchester United having to make a statement would be lovely. We have more statements than wins on the pitch this season. It's not it's not been an easy couple of weeks. Vincent is down there as well, brightening or threatening. I don't think Ten Hag will have luxury in this one. I predict he Amrabat and then substitute him towards the end. Also, we need a response from losing. Absolutely, Vincent. You're correct on need a response from that Arsenal loss. We have to go out and try to beat Brighton. And look, they've been very good this season, but they have lost, and they lost quite heavily to West Ham United. Hopefully, we can look for one or two things in that. I'm looking forward to the match. I'm looking forward to seeing Rasmus Højlund play at Old Trafford, but it's going to be a big effort from United, and it might not be pretty, but 3 points are what's needed. Drop a like in the video as well, guys. We're up to 16. Can we get up to 20? Would be massively appreciated as well. Let me just get the quotes up as well. So, look, this Harry Maguire situation is something we want to talk about because Maguire, I mean, look, he's not a great player. He's not a great defender. He's not Manchester United quality. I don't think he ever has been. He was never worth £18 billion. He always has had that sort of monkey on his back over the price tag paid for him and how much he actually cost the club. My problem is with Harry Maguire, he should have went in the summer. It would have been the best thing for him to have a brand new start, a brand new beginning, and not have to be at the same environment where clearly the fan base are against him. Clearly opposition fans are against him. He goes to England, he gets booed, he gets jeered away, and he gets jeered by his own fans. It's not a good situation. It's really, really not. So I want to go through what the Maguire family have been coming out as well today, because there has been quotes. I think it's been hard. I think some of it has been unfair. I mean, Maguire is kind of in a situation where everything is absolutely going wrong for him on and off the pitch. Charlie is down there. Hello, Charlie. Hope all is good. You lost your father. Sancho has closed his United door. Yeah, man. Of course, very, very sorry to hear about your father as well. Condolences to your family. Absolutely, big shout out. And yeah, sending love your way, of course. And yeah, look, Sancho has closed. I think he's closed the door as well. Let me just, what was I checking there? Oh, Maguire. Yes, so Harry Maguire is unaffected by everything around him and is even a little bit taken aback by all the attention he's receiving. He doesn't read newspapers. He doesn't look at social media. I think it's probably a good thing. It has been hard on Maguire. And look, I'm actually feeling bad for the guy. Seriously, I am as well. But yeah, absolutely. Luman's down there sending love to Charlie as well. Of course, condolences to your family as well. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. what have we got here? Yes, Maguire's mum has made a statement as well. So she is saying, as a mum, um, seeing the level of negative and abusive comments in which my son is receiving from some fans, pundits, and the media is disgraceful, totally unacceptable to any walk of life, never mind someone who works his socks off for his club and country. I was there in the stand as usual. It's not acceptable. It has been created over nothing. I understand that in the football world there are ups and downs, positives and negatives, and what Harry receives has gone far beyond the level of football. For me, seeing him go through what he goes through is not okay. I would like to see, wouldn't like any other parents or players to have to go through this in the future, especially the young boys and girls breaking through the ranks today. Harry has a massive heart and it's a good job he's mentally strong and can handle it, as others may not be able to. I wish this sort of abuse on nobody. So look, I mean, it's kind of what you would expect. It's an ugly situation. I feel bad for the guy because a lot of it's just not fair. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. If it's an own goal going in, if it's him backing into his own players, look, things like that can happen. But because it's Maguire, everything is put under a microscope as well. Gani is down there. It's about the manager to bring out the talent. Pogba, the victim of bad managers, top coaches make average players look world class. Absolutely, they do. And Ten Hag can do that. He is the guy to do it. I think what the issue is, it swings both ways as well. It has to come not just from the manager. It um, has to come as well from the player side. It really does. Do I think Pogba could have made it under Ten Hag? It's a good question there, Luman. It is a good question. I think what I will say about Pogba is, again, no doubting the quality, no doubting the talent, but I think Pogba was kind of driven to the point as well. I think when he first came in, it was, yeah, there was hype and stuff, and there was dance videos and all that, but what we will say about Pogba when he first came in is the first couple of seasons were very good, and before he really started picking up the injuries, fantastic player, no doubting the ability. I think maybe Ten Hag could have got more out of him. I think the issue was Mourinho kind of was the wrong style of manager for Pogba as well, because it was kind of constant negativity and moaning. It was always somebody else's fault. It's why Pogba played some of his best matches under Ollie, because Ollie came and gave him the smiles and the hugs that he needed. Look, at the end, it didn't work out. Could Ten Hag have got more out of him? Probably. Would he have took the nonsense that came along? Definitely not either. Never seen Harry Maguire take responsibility for mistakes in games. All I see is him speaking arrogantly. It's a good point there, Chase, as well. I do vividly remember, I think we drew with Burnley, and Harry Maguire did make a mistake, and his immediate response, of course, was to come out and blame the strikers for not scoring another goal. I think, yeah, look, there's a reason why he's not Manchester United captain. There's a reason why he's not playing. There's a reason why Erik Ten Hag would have moved him on in this summer if Maguire would have went. United, for all intents and purposes, as much as we like to bash the club, they did everything they had to. They did everything they needed to. They accepted a bid. They got a good price, and it came down to Maguire's issues, overpay, and that's why he's still at Manchester United. Now, look, we can try spin this in the sense like, yeah, look, he's fighting for his place or he's working hard or whatever. It's not about that. It has always been a case that Maguire didn't want to take a perceived step down, and he's nothing to lose. I mean, clearly, no matter what happens, he will be playing for England. Gareth Southgate will not drop him from the squad. So, I mean, look, that's just another one of these things, is that there's no incentive for him to go out and play football. And there's a lot of players knocking at the door for England he should be playing, in my opinion. 35 votes on the poll as well, guys. We got 60% saying no, Sancho has no future at Manchester United. We have 26% going for the not sure and 14% going for the yes. So it's not looking good. The United philosophy faithful are not backing Sancho to have any real sort of future at Manchester United. And I think that's interesting, because I think as a community we are quite positive and we do try to be optimistic and back the players. I just don't know if I see a way back. Gani says Pogba could have made it under Ten Hag. Seems to know play better. Jose was wrong not to give Pogba the 10 shirt and play him out of position. Absolutely. Look, we played Pogba. We tried to play him as a 6. He didn't have the defensive stuff. It's a real shame, because what Pogba really needed was a top-level defensive midfielder who would do a lot of the defending work and a lot of the tackling and all outside of the game. And the season he left, we brought Casemiro in. What could have been with Bruno and Pogba and Casemiro would have been a fantastic midfield last year. It really, really would have. But look, Pogba's mind was made up the last couple of seasons. They weren't great. It was constant injuries. And I do feel bad. I seriously do, because this is a guy who should have been one of the best midfielders of his generation, and it just never happened. Now, the stuff off the pitch hasn't helped. The injuries haven't helped. The teams he played in, the managers he played for. At the end of the day, it's another story of wasted potential. Look, some of it's his fault, some of it's the fault of those around him as well. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure to get them in. Any more questions? Make sure to pop them in. Let me just double check. I want to react to something. Looks like something is coming out as well. Yeah, so literally 1 minute ago, James Ducker has said, Jadon Sancho feels he has been the victim of double standards at Manchester United. I'm not quite sure what the double standards are. Now, look, we can point towards Antony playing. Do I think Antony has been a great signing for United? No, I really don't. Do I think he offers more than Sancho? I think last year he did. I think he had a better campaign. And I think both players had a lot to prove going into this season. I think Antony's season looks to be in jeopardy because of the off-the-field stuff. Sancho's stuff definitely would have been a massive opportunity. And if he held his tongue, if he didn't post all that, he would be playing week in, week out for Manchester United right now, because Antony's gone for an indefinite amount of time. Sancho could have played all he wanted. He would have played every week, and no doubt about it. But instead, the opportunity has fallen to Facundo Pellistri, and it's his chance now. If Ten Hag is brave enough to pick him, which I really hope he is, because I think there's a player in there who can offer a lot, offers something different as well, compared to what we get from a Rashford and a Garnacho, or even an Antony when he was available. I think you get genuine pace. You got a player who wants to go on the outside, put the crosses in. That's going to help Rasmus Højlund. I said the other night, go back and watch a lot of the goals we've seen Højlund score for Denmark and for Atalanta. A lot of them's darts across the front post, getting flick-ons, tapping it into the net. Real instinctive stuff. Pellistri definitely can provide that for Rasmus Højlund, and there's a reason why he has been playing for the Uruguayan national team. I mean, Pellistri was making appearances at the World Cup before he was playing, even really in the United squad. So definitely a talented player, definitely got a lot to prove, and I think this might be his opportunity. I seriously do. I think a lot of the stuff coming out about Sancho, it's questions about the mentality. It really is, guys. And that's what we have to be questioning. I want to have a quick look at this article from James Ducker, because it really is interesting as well. Have a comment coming in as well, something I did see online. I want to read it out to you guys. So it's a crazy statement, calling out your manager's words a lie, and then straight refusing to apologize for it when all that was expected of you was punctuality, a higher standard in training, and a 9 out of 10 performance of more than 5 times per season. I think maybe some of this stuff's harsh, but I think in terms of application, I think Sancho had a lot to do, and this is an ongoing issue. This has been an ongoing problem at Manchester United, an ongoing problem with Jadon Sancho as well. We've seen it at Manchester City, would regularly turn up late. We've seen it at Borussia Dortmund. There was questions over his work rate, his attitude off the pitch. These are questions that have been lingering over the guy for a long time. I want him to make it. I absolutely do. I'm not trying to hit. I'm really not, because if Jadon Sancho turns up every week for Manchester United, drops a 10 out of 10 performance, scoring goals, setting them up, United making loads of opportunities, scoring lots of goals, Højlund and Bruno and Rashford, all those players are backing week in, week out. That's nothing but good for this team. And I will always say that I really don't care what player is playing well. I will never pick a side in a player battle, because ultimately, all I want to see is United do well. So if we do really well with Pellistri in there, then play Pellistri. If Sancho comes back, works really hard, is genuinely living up to the potential, the talent, the ability we know he has, then that's nothing but a good thing for Manchester United. I think as fans, we want to see this team be good. Do I think Rashford in so many matches? Besides the 3 good months last year, he has been average. Ten Hag needs to rotate the players more. I would agree with you as well. I think, yeah, a lot of Rashford's performances can be questionable. I think what he gives you is something that no other player in the team has, and that's he can drop a stinker of a performance and still score a goal. And I think we're so strapped for goals at the moment that maybe it it's worth keeping him in the team. I think he's a lot better on the left. I think he's played twice on the left this season, 2 assists and 1 goal, better performances. But he does need it up the levels. He really does. So I would agree with you. I think some rotation definitely needed, and we can do it as well. And we can do it without losing a lot of quality. And I think that's the most important thing for Erik Ten Hag. It's not dropping players for the sake of it. It's not losing levels. We have Garnacho coming through. Those matches will be very beneficial for Garnacho. And we can take Rashford out of the team when needed. Give him a rest. Let him recover from the minor knocks that he always picks up. Jesus Zhang watch Sancho play. He doesn't track back. He chickens out of 50-50 challenges. Doesn't contest for aerial duels. What does he really offer? Look, I think what Sancho offers is something United don't really have. We're not really a possession-based team. We don't really have an elite level right back to make those overlapping runs, to do what Sancho cannot do in the final third. You think back to his best performances. A lot of them came at Borussia Dortmund. And he had Erling Haaland up front, who was setting up. He had Marco Reus on the inside. He had Hakimi at right back, bombing on past and making those overlapping runs. He always had options. And I will say at Manchester United, he hasn't always had them. I think Bruno Fernandes has a massive tendency to drift to the left-hand side. I think the question marks about who plays at striker, we haven't seen enough from those guys either, be it Rashford or Martial. I don't think that's helped. I think having Wan-Bissaka there doesn't help. Now look, Wan-Bissaka's a good player, but he's not a Hakimi going forward. He doesn't get the goals and assists. He doesn't make those overlapping runs, brilliant crosses into the box. He cannot offer that. So I think, yeah, look, our right-hand side has been a massive question mark for a long, long time. I think Sancho hasn't helped himself. He hasn't been helped by the players around him as well, though, absolutely. Ashid's in the comments. Good to see you, man. Hope all is good. Who else we got? Chase is down there as well. Even Bruno needs to set out most games, not just Marcus. Yeah, look, rotation is good for the team. The fitter you are, the more energy you have, the better performances you can put in. And that's something that the likes of City and Arsenal have, is genuine depth, genuine quality. I think one of the big reasons we haven't really been rotating the team too much, and we haven't seen enough of it, in my opinion, is if we take 1 or 2 players out of that team, everything falls apart. We take Casemiro out, there's no one in midfield to hold down the midfield. We take Bruno out, there's no one going to make the opportunities. You take Rashford out, who's going to score the goals? Far too reliant on a couple of players. Man City can take De Bruyne off and put Phil Foden on. They can take Haaland off and put Julian Alvarez on. Arsenal can take the likes of Bukayo Saka out and put Trossard on, or they can put Martinelli on. They got Jesus, they got Nketiah, they got Declan Rice in midfield now. They can take him out and put Partey in. So they have different options. I think we're still a small squad. Too small really to compete in all the trophies. And I think that's one of the reasons why this team is struggling at the minute with injuries. Last year we got lucky. The injuries were not too bad, but I still think we're burnt out. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of injuries. Before the season even started, we've seen Rafael Varane questioning the amount of matches, the burnout, the potential injuries. We've got 8 players now not available for the Brighton match, and that's after an international break. Let me see who we got down here. Gani Ericsson should be sharing that role with Bruno. He's too comfortable. Yeah, look, absolutely, and I think Mount can do it as well. If we have Sofian Amrabat in midfield now, we can take Bruno out, put Mount at 10, put Sofian Amrabat in. That's an option. We're going to have Kobbie Mainoo coming back very soon. I think that's going to be very beneficial. A player who definitely would have played a lot of matches this season and hopefully still will. He's only missed 4 matches, but he's got to build the fitness back up as well. Let me see. 40 votes on the poll. We have 57% going for the no. We got 28% going for not sure, and 15% of you guys saying, yeah, you still think Sancho has a future at Manchester United. It's an interesting one as well. Some other quotes coming in from Jim Stucker. Jadon Sancho believes there has been noticeable inconsistencies in the way Ten Hag has applied certain rules in relation to him compared to certain teammates. This is one of the reasons why Sancho believes that he is a scapegoat for the manager and for the team. I think this is really damning. And these are the sort of details that do not really come out unless you have a player or a player's agent speaking directly to the press. This screams of Sancho's agent ringing up James Tucker of the Telegraph and trying to put out Sancho's side of the story. I think what it does is it turns people against him. And look, United had a long history of leaks. We had a long history of players running to the media. We still do. And I think it does nothing to endear yourself to the fans. I think us as a fan base, we have had enough of this as well. And nobody really seems to be backing it. It really doesn't. I think what Sancho's got to do is go away, apologise, and try to come back and work hard. That's what he's got to do. I think all this double standards, I think all this running to the media, complaining, it's not the way to go about it. I really don't. I don't think we'd see top level professionals do this, and that's what we have to be asking questions about. Is this really what we want to see? And according to James Tucker, and we will get this into the comments as well for you guys, because this is quite big, Jadon Sancho is refusing to back down on his stance. So we find ourselves in a situation now with a player who the manager wants to apologise. The club have asked him to apologise. The only thing standing between Sancho and coming back to the team is apologising to Ten Hag. Sancho is now refusing to back down. I think that's going to be an issue. It really is. Because I do think Ten Hag is a stubborn man, and I think Ten Hag will stick to his guns on this situation, as he should. As he absolutely should. You're meant to be in charge of these players. They're meant to respect you. Then you can't back down in this. You really, really can't. We've got to be strong on this one. Got to feel that this is going to rumble on. It's another real issue that Erik Ten Hag is having to deal with. And it seems to be issue after issue. And I think this is year after year, 10 plus years, 15 years of player power at this club. Really, really thriving and being alive. And I think that's what we're trying to do now, is Ten Hag is really going against the players. It's his way or the highway. It's his way or no way. And that's what's got to be. We even said it last year. I'm sure you guys remember Sir Alex Ferguson himself. One thing he did say, and he spoke very little about Ten Hag, very little about the club, but he did say that United needs someone to come in, get a grip of the club, and take control. That's what Ten Hag is doing in this situation. Jadon Sancho is unhappy that Erik Ten Hag went public in the first place with his grievances, according to James Tucker as well. I think this is irony. I think this is the pot calling the kettle black, because Jadon Sancho went to 3 million people on his Twitter and went public with his grievances. So I think we got issues here with Sancho. I think this is starting to really look ugly. I think if people who were not sure, or people who voted yes in the poll, were voting on it now, I think a lot of people will be voting no, because I don't see a way back. I think this is really damning. I just don't see a way back for Jadon Sancho at this football club. I seriously don't. And if this is the way he's acting, I can see why. I seriously can. I can see why the manager's frustrated. I'm frustrated just reading this stuff. Like, this is not what you want to see. When backs are against the wall, when things aren't going well off the pitch, things are going well on the pitch, what you need to be is a united front. And a house divided can't stand. And I guess that's why we're seeing Sancho being took out of the team. That's why we're seeing Sancho potentially maybe going to move on. Because I don't know where his future is going to be. I don't know how he comes back into this team. I seriously don't. Let me see. I think there's more in this article as well. It's just not looking good as well. Let me see as well. What else has James Tucker said on this one? Sancho refusing to back down, believes there has been inconsistencies in how Ten Hag has applied certain rules in relation to him compared to teammates. He's unhappy that Ten Hag went public with his grievances in the first place, and Jadon Sancho is refusing to back down. He believes he is being made a scapegoat. He's being made the victim in all this. Look, it's an ugly situation. It's not what we want to see at this football club. We've seen enough of this. We thought we were past this with Ronaldo last year, but clearly the players are still fancying themselves in a one-on-one battle with Erik Ten Hag. I think we're going to have to be ruthless, and I don't see a way back for him. I seriously don't. Not at this point. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Any more thoughts, get them in down below. Does Sancho have a future at Manchester United? If I'm Facundo Pellistri, I'm sitting at home, I'm reading Twitter, I'm looking at these stories coming out, and I'm sitting with a smile on my face. This is a chance for him to play regular football for Manchester United. This is a chance for him to make a name for himself. This is a chance for Pellistri to go, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get my head down. I'm going to make the manager happy. I'm going to step up when he needs me to. And I'm going to play for Manchester United. I'm going to make it worthwhile me not going on loan over the summer. I'm sure he's very glad of that situation now. I'm sure he's very happy with himself. Let's see what Facundo Pellistri can do. I mean, what else are we going to do? We're not going to play. We can't play Antony. We can't play Amad Diallo. Unless we're going to pick Shea Lacey out. That's my question. Jace is down there as well. Good to see you, man. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below on the Sancho issue, because this is an ongoing story, and it's been 2 weeks. What was it? Saturday? The Arsenal match was a Saturday, so it's pretty much been 2 weeks. We're still no further from resolution. I think this is why Manchester United have decided to make Sancho. This is why we decided to put him in the position he's in the first place, training alone, training by himself. Clearly, there's disruption there, and clearly we don't want it around the other players. An interesting point as well coming in. I want to write this one out. You could understand why Sancho's frustration if you could count his good performances on more than one hand after 2 years in the club. He was signed to be a star player at Manchester United, not a prospect. His fee of 75 million and his weekly wages of £350,000 per week demand that. It's so frustrating with the whole situation. A player obviously in the wrong and acting like a child. How are his family members, representatives and agents not telling him to back down? Does he think he'll outlast Ten Hag, or does he not want to play until January? I can't help but think he fully expected a move to Chelsea to happen in the summer. Those were the rumours as to why he had been underperforming in training. His head was turned by London and Chelsea. Chelsea didn't want him and signed Cole Palmer instead. Some people at Dortmund weren't afraid to lose him because they had seen signs of regression in his game in the final season at his club, and they were not wrong. That's a really, really interesting point there as well. And I think this has been an ongoing situation for a long time. It's been dragging on for far too long. We want to see the resolution. We want to see it happen. What's going to happen here? Is Sancho going to be training by himself until January? Will he be moved on? Because I really doubt top-level clubs are going to look at this and say, yeah, well, this is a player we want, because there's not a lot of top teams who would have the money for Sancho. The money United would want, the money he demands is weekly wages. There's not a lot of teams. Would he get away with this at Real Madrid? No. Would he get away with this at Bayern Munich? No. Would he get away with it at Barcelona, PSG? Probably not. I mean, I can see why he might have wanted to move to Chelsea. I mean, that club's in the mud as well, but it's not looking good for Jadon Sancho. I think that's where we're sitting. That's where we're looking at just as we're wrapping things up as well. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below. This is an ongoing situation. I'm sure we will be sitting here in a month's time, probably still talking Sancho. Will he be back? Will he not be? Make no mistake about it. The first sign of trouble, the first loss we take, people will be demanding Sancho back. And it's just the way it's going to happen. Is when United needed midfielders, we were asking Van de Beek to play at number 6. I mean, this is what we'll get with this fan base sometimes. Just saying, probably going to play sometime before December, but I'm certain he will leave. I would agree with that. I think he comes back at some point, but I don't see a long-term future. I really don't. And I just think he's handling it all wrong. I don't know who's giving them this advice. I don't know who's telling him this is a good idea, but this is where we're looking at. This is where we are with Sancho at the moment, guys, and it's a shame. It really is. I think that's the biggest word. I don't take any joy in this. I don't take any happiness in Sancho's United career maybe not happening, but I think what we can say is this looks like another expensive mistake from Manchester United at this moment in time. Will he turn it around? I don't know. I hope he can, but I really don't know. Greg is saying Pellistri trained hard on his own with a personal trainer in the summer. I say, saying no time for holidays. I need to be my best. I heard Sancho was partying in America in the international break. Yeah, I think there was photos of that as well. He was at like an NBM player's birthday party or something. I don't know. But I did see that as well. Look, it's not the way to go about it. If you're desperate to get into the team, if you think you should be playing, then you know what you got to do. And all Sancho had to do was to put consistently better performances in on the pitch, in training, than Antony. And it's not that Antony was setting the world alight either. If Antony was playing and scoring every other week, setting goals up, if Antony was playing out of his skin, if Antony was putting 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performances in, and you're like, yeah, this guy, he's going to be the next big thing in football. Yeah, maybe you could understand it. But the guy ahead of him has not been playing well. The guy ahead of him has not hit the ground running. The guy ahead of him has not been doing a good job either. It should not have been that difficult for a player of Jadon Sancho's ability, for his talent, for his undeniable skill with the football, to outlast Antony, to push Antony out of the team. But he hasn't. And that's the issue. And that's what he was up against. And if you're Facundo Pellistri, work hard, be available, don't be late to training, and you're going to get a chance. And go and smash it up. I seriously hope he will. I really, really hope that Pellistri can do it. We're going to find out what he's made of in the next couple of weeks. Okay, guys, with that in mind, I'm going to drop off here. So thanks so much for joining in with us tonight. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. And remember, we will be back tomorrow and Saturday watch along as well. So I'll see all you guys then. Have a good Friday. And I will see you guys same time, 7:30 tomorrow. Actually, we've got one more comment I want to go through here as well with Gani. Just seeing it popping in. He will get another chance. I feel the manager kind of understand that he should have told Sancho why he wasn't in the matchday squad. Plus, a couple of players don't bring performances too. It's a good point. It is a good point. Yeah, look, it should have been handled better. I feel like Sancho has been rubbed the wrong way because I don't think Ten Hag wanted to come out and blame Sancho for the performance. I don't think that was the intention. It was an off the cuff sort of comment, really. I feel like, yeah, he's probably trying to make a public comment to get something out of him, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Like, I don't think he was gunning for him. I think there's a bigger issue with Ten Hag and VAR at the time, but I think that's the problem. But we're going to find out. It's going to be an interesting week, as it always is with Manchester United, guys. I will be back tomorrow. There'll probably be a lot more to talk about on the Sancho stuff, and we'll do a preview for the Brighton match as well tomorrow. So make sure to join in for that, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see all you guys tomorrow.